Hello again, this is Brooks Courtney, your host, and today we're going to look at the Easy Level Precision Leveling and Stabilization System. Everybody knows that a solid foundation is the most important element in any construction project. Why then would anyone expect their cabinets and granite to be any different? Well, the answer is simple. Most people assume that their base cabinets are resting safely on a reasonably level surface, and that should be good enough. But nothing could be further from the truth. The fact is, floors are not level. Residential, commercial, new construction, older homes, all floors vary. But your cabinets have to be absolutely level. There can be no variation. Now, typically, installers will use shims to level up their cabinets. But shims are unstable. They were never meant to be a foundation for your cabinets. But if you're going to spend $20,000 or $30,000 on brand new granite, cabinets, fine glass doors and drawers, you're going to need a foundation that's going to last for years. Now, everyone knows that older homes, well, they rarely have level floors. But what about new construction? Let's take a closer look. Here we are at a brand new construction site. We've set up our laser level and our story stick has been marked so that as we move it around the room, we can quickly see if the floors are level or not. Any variation in that laser line will tell us if we have run into a dip or a hump in the floor. And as we move around the room a bit, you can see that the floors initially vary about 1/8 of an inch, which will require some shims. As we get about 8 or 9 foot down the run, we start getting into trouble. Now we've got about 3/8 of an inch to make up. And as we approach the end of our cabinet run, about 10 foot from our corner, you can see we have a huge difference in height. Well over 1/2 an inch, which is going to require quite a few shims. So as you can see, even new construction, the floors are never perfectly level. Why? Well, to understand this, you just have to consider how concrete slabs are created. The concrete is simply poured in. The power screeders come in and set the concrete in place, and just behind them the finishers trowel out the floor until it's smooth. Now this method works great for the most part, but there's no possible way to get the floors perfectly level, which, by the way, is exactly what we need for our cabinets and our granite. So what's the big deal having a couple of shims here and there? Well, let's look. Here is a very basic 6 cabinet run. Let's assume that the floors are only off by 1/4 of an inch from one side to the other. Keep in mind that every single corner of every single cabinet must rest on the ground, which means that this very short cabinet run, only off by 1/4 of an inch, would require shims in 12 different locations. And that's not all. If the cabinets were off more than 1/4 of an inch, it would require multiple shims in each one of those quadrants. Here's an example of a kitchen that we did just recently. Again, we've set up our laser, and as you can see, our cabinets and our countertops are perfectly level. But our floors are far from level. To demonstrate, we've set up our laser, and we've marked a black line on our story stick where the laser falls. If the floors were perfectly level, we could move our stick around the room and the black line would line up with the laser line every single time, no matter where we move the stick. But as you can see, as we move our story stick only a few feet towards the back wall, the floors begin to slope down a little bit, at first only 1/8 of an inch. But as we move towards the window, you'll see that our floors start to slope down over 1/2 an inch. And around the sink area, it's about 1/2 an inch lower as well. Making our way around to the dishwasher, we're now 9/16 lower at this point than the highest point of the floor. Now let's look at how many shims would be required for this simple kitchen. As you can see, 16 points of contact in this kitchen would require shims. Not the best foundation for cabinets and granite. Here's something else. All building materials expand and contract throughout the seasons. And as these materials are expanding and contracting, they move. That's why all wood flooring manufacturers insist that a minimum of 1/4 inch expansion gap be left all the way around the perimeter of the floor where the floor meets the wall. If you do not leave this gap, you void the warranty. Why? Because they know that the floors will buckle as they expand and contract. Now, it gets worse. As these building materials are expanding and contracting, they do so at different rates. Depending on the wood, the grain, and the processing, 10 different materials will actually expand at 10 different rates, and at 10 different times. While one material expands one way, the other material could be expanding in a completely different direction. So as this is happening, your cabinets and shims are actually moving back and forth, and in different directions. And within 1 year, those shims are absolutely worthless. Here's another thing. Houses settle. All houses settle. If it's built well, it's not going to settle much. If the foundation is strong and sure, you're not going to notice any big problems. But all houses settle a little bit. And when that happens, you must have a stable foundation under your cabinets in granite. All 4 corners of every single cabinet must be firmly planted on the ground. Now, let's look at granite for a moment. Over the past 20 years or so, I've installed every kind of countertop imaginable. Granite, solid surface, concrete tops, Formica, you name it. But granite has always been my personal favorite. It's big, it's bold, it's beautiful. But if the foundation's weak, it'll crack in a second. This is why you will always see granite tops being transported vertically. When you lay them horizontally, they are at their weakest point. That's why it's imperative that your granite rests safely on all 4 rails of every single cabinet. Which brings us to our next topic, precision. Absolute precision can only be achieved using the proper tools. The Easy Level system gives the installers the ability to adjust all 4 corners of every single cabinet with laser precision. Watch as this installer is able to split an 1/8 of an inch thick laser beam with incredible precision, adjusting every corner independently so that all 4 rails of every single cabinet are laser level. Look at those laser lines, split down the middle. Every single cabinet is perfectly level. This cannot be accomplished with any other leveling system. So let's recap for a minute. First, as we saw earlier, in order to maintain a stable foundation, we had to achieve 4 solid points of contact for each cabinet. The Easy Level system delivers exactly that, not only providing 4 solid points of contact for each cabinet, but it's strong. It's very strong. That's because the Easy Level system was engineered using a Class 1 lever system. There are no gears to slip or strip. The Easy Level stabilization system was engineered to last a lifetime. But there's still one very important issue that we haven't discussed yet, and it destroys more cabinets and costs homeowners more money than any other issue: water damage. Small water leaks are very common, and it can happen at any time. Sadly, a small water leak will destroy most kitchen cabinets in only a few minutes. Insurance companies usually consider them a total loss, which is kind of a good thing because they are. But the downside is huge. In order to replace your cabinets, you'll have to remove your countertops too, and the backsplash, sink, and faucet, all kinds of things. And guess who pays for those items? The homeowner. Those items aren't technically damaged. Only the cabinets are replaced. But not to worry. With the Easy Level precision leveling system, our installers are able to do things that they were never able to do before. Let's watch. Under normal circumstances, that water hose might be giving that cabinet quite a problem, but not with the easy level system. That's because, unlike any other leveling system, our installers are able to level up your cabinets just about 1/8 of an inch off the ground. That way, if a flood happens, the water runs safely under your cabinets, never touching the wood. The Easy Level system can be purchased through authorized dealers everywhere. If you're watching this video, it's because you're working with a professional who recognizes the importance of a well-laid foundation. The Easy Level Precision Leveling and Stabilization System protects your cabinets, countertops, doors, and drawers for a lifetime. So, this is Brooks Courtney for the Easy Level system. God bless you and happy installing.